Good morning, everyone. I wanted to cover the steps to draw from a holster. What I like to start with beginners is an outside the waistband holster and no articles of clothing, no concealment to begin with. So I'd like you to get your draw from a holster down very good, and then we add in clothing. It's just a simple final step to clear the clothing out of the way. So I like to start here first. So step one in drawing from a holster is your strong hands drives down on top of the gun. Those three fingers grip it. Your forefinger is straight along the holster. So when this gun comes out of the holster, that forefinger is right on the locator. It does not end up curled anywhere near that trigger. Along with step one, this hand, we talked before about, I don't want this hand dangling out there. I don't want anything except for your brain to know exactly where this hand is at. And where this hand goes is up against your body. Depending upon your draw, and depending upon if you're a man or a woman, big chest, small chest, big beer belly, no beer belly, your hands can end up in a little bit different spots, right? So your hand goes against your chest or body while this hand comes up, drives down on top of the gun, your finger straight out. That's step one. So what I like to do in classes is call number one. Get people lined up on the line and then say number one. So we'll do a couple of those so you can follow along. One. Then we move on to step two. Step two is you get the gun out of the holster. Get it out by pulling it straight up, just like we said a second ago. So 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Step 3 is you're going to cant the gun. So step 3 looks like this. You're going to cant the gun toward the bad guy, okay? If you take a look, my gun is canted right at the camera. So that's what you're going to do. Looks like this. 1, 2, 3. The gun gets canted toward the bad guy. A couple of things I'd like you to think about, and as I've said before, there's a number of ways to do this. This is a way that I like, and it certainly is a nice, safe way to learn how to do it. But when I cant it, if you notice a couple of things, this slide will not hit me in the chest, okay? It's intentional. That slide isn't going to get caught up in clothing. That slide is not going to go out of battery because it hit me or because it got clothing caught. The reason for that is in close quarter combat. Somebody has a hold of you, okay, and you're right up close. You're right up close to them. You can actually pull the gun out and fire from here. So you don't want that slide to hit you in the chest and get messed up or get a jam. You don't want the slide to catch any clothing. So again, 1, 2, 3. Number 4 is simply this hand finally gets some use. So number 4, they meet in the middle and you get a nice, solid, 2 hands, thumbs forward grip on it, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 5, simply press out and then pull the trigger. Rack it so the trigger will work next time. Safely reholster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Finger on the trigger. Bang. Now, what I want you to think about is reholstering. That can be some of the least safe things to do with a gun is reholstering. What if there's a branch that landed in there, or that elastic band that's at the bottom of many jackets, that tie piece that you tighten up your jacket with, that can get caught in there. To be honest, every one of those in every jacket I own has been cut out and pulled out. It doesn't exist any longer. I do not want that caught in there. The other thing that I want you to think about is you were just out on the gun. You pulled the trigger. If you leave that finger there and you come back and reholster, the gun will work as intended. You will pull the trigger as you reholster, and you'll shoot yourself in the butt, thigh, leg, or just embarrass yourself by putting a bullet into the ground. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Finger on the trigger, pull it. Finger off the trigger. Beginners, I say get it off the gun. Put it way out there so you can physically feel it in that little muscle there. Pull that finger off. Now you can safely reholster. Bring it back in. Hand comes off. Maybe if there's clothing there, this hand might help get those clothes out of the way. Okay? But under no circumstances do I want the muzzle of that gun to go across your hand, across your feet. So, bring it back in. I've got clothing out of the way. I physically look. My thumb goes on the back of the slide. I think to myself, my finger's off the trigger. It's way out there. Give yourself a little pain right there. Push that finger out so it's stretched. Safely reholster. The whole thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pull the trigger. Finger off the trigger. Bring it back in. Hand comes off the gun to your body. And I think finger off the trigger. I push it way out there. Thumb on the back of the slide. Look down. There's nothing in that holster. Safely reholster.